Hey guys, hope you're well. So today I want to show you how to basically add extra profiles to your transmitter, your Radiomaster TX16S, and to your Rotorflight. Now you might be thinking, well, helicopters already have 3 flight modes or profiles, why do I need 2 extra? Well, there's loads of different reasons why you might need extra. I'm not going to go into the reasons. For me personally, I'm using the 2 extra profiles 4 and 5, for basically to set up training and auto leveling, etc. But you could use them for anything you want. But this video is going to show you how to do that. Okay, so basically what I normally have as a standard setup is I have my flight modes here. So this is flight mode 1,
flight mode 2, 2, flight mode 3,
3.
flight mode 2, flight mode 1.
And then this is when this is on number 1. Okay, my position switch is number 1. But once I put that to number 6, this switch is now going to be for my flight mode 4 and 5. So when I press that,
flight mode 4.
It says flight mode 4 because I'm there.
Flight mode 5.
Now I'm in flight mode 5.
Flight mode 4.
Now, if I go back to here, it says flight mode 1. Now also notice when this switch is on, these flight modes, there is no sound at all coming from here. Again, if I'm using this switch for flight mode 5 and flight mode 4, I'm not getting any sounds from this switch. Now also notice that I have a 2 flight modes here. So I've got flight mode 2 and 3, okay, and then I've got on here flight mode 4 and 5, but this isn't going to work because I'm not on this switch, but only if I put it on this switch, then this is going to change to 5 and back to 4. Okay, so let's have a look at how to do all this. I'm going to click on MDL and I'm going to go straight to my mixes and I'm going to scroll down. And basically, if you notice here in channel 7, this is where my flight mode is. I've added an extra line at the bottom. So you do that by clicking there and clicking insert after. And that will add that second line. But let's have a look at the changes I've made to my top line. So I'm going to click on edit. Now, the first thing I've done is I've added a switch, which is position 1. So basically saying I want this to be active when this switch is on. And the other thing I did is I added an offset of -90. This is really important and it's needed for Rotorflight. So you get your different flight modes or profiles in the right settings. So you need a -90 there. Now over here, I added a new line. And in here, I've put in the name FM45 for flight mode 4 and 5. My source is my switch, my SC switch, which is this switch over here. Okay, my weight is 100 and my switch is position 6. I'm saying only when this button is on will this be activated. And then in the offset, I've put 150%. And again, this is used for Rotorflight to make sure that the different profiles work correctly. So that's all we're doing in mixes. Nice and simple. You can see there it's highlighted in yellow, which is activated because I'm on number 1. If I push that to number 6 there, then that activates that. Now the other thing I had to do is I had to go to the logical switches to assign the different sounds. So if I go to my logical switches, I only had 1 logical switch, which was that top one, and I've actually added an extra 7 logical switches. So my logical switch 2 is basically, and 3 are basically the same. What they're saying is saying that this SC switch should be in the 0 position, which is the middle position. So if I click on here and go edit, my function is A equals X. My variable 1 is my switch, which is SC. So it's that switch here. Variable 2 is basically the position of that switch. So 0 is the middle position. Okay, so I'm in the middle position. And then I'm saying that I want it to be activated when my position 6 is switched on. Now 3 is exactly the same, but this time it's at 100, which means the position has to be all the way down. Okay, so you can see there it's highlighted in yellow because that switch is all the way down. So it's exactly the same as logical switch 2. but I've got 100, which means it's all the way down. Now my logical switch 5 is basically the same as well as 2 and 3, but with minus 100, as you can see, and minus 100 basically means this switch is all the way to the back over there. So you can see now it's got highlighted, and then if I put it in the middle, then logical switch 2 gets highlighted all the way to the bottom, logical switch 3 gets highlighted. Now all the way to the back, and now we have logical 5. So I've done that so I could assign the right sounds to this. So if I go to my special functions, you can now see at the bottom that I've got my play track, flight mode 5 on LO2, LO3, and LO5 is for my flight mode 4. So I had to create these just so I could have sounds assigned here. Okay, now if you notice, I've got logical switch 4 activated when logical switch 2 or logical switch 3 switched on. So this is really simple. You go into here, you say function or LO2 or LO3, and when position 6 that is on, this is going to be activated. And the reason I created that is for my widget over here. So if I go to screens and I look at my widget and I click on my widget over here and go widget settings, I'm using logical switch 4 to be able to basically put the different values in the different positions. Now this switch pro widget, this is not a standard widget that came with the transmitter. This is one I downloaded, and if you haven't seen this before, please watch my video on widgets, because it tells you where to download it from and how to use it. But basically, to get this widget here to display these correctly like that, so now I'm in 4, 5, back to 5, back to 5, back to 4. So to get this to work correctly, I basically had to go to my my logical switches and add this logical switch 4, which basically says it needs to be activated when logical switch 2 or logical switch 3 is active. Okay, this is basically how I set it up. Now the other thing I set up is I wanted, as I showed you earlier, I wanted the sound on these only to be activated when I'm in position 1. See, at the moment, because I'm in position 6, I'm not getting any sounds. So what I had to do is I had to do exactly the same. I added 6, 7, and 8 logical switches, which now look at switch SG, which is this switch over here, SG. And basically I've got my 3 different positions, minus 100, which means it's all the way at the bottom, 0, which means that SG switch is in the middle position, and 100, which means it's towards me. And I'm saying that it's position, switch position 1. So I'm saying here that I need it to be on this. So if we have another look in there, you can see how I've set it up. So A equals X, my switch is SG, and then I've got my value 2, which is the position of that switch, and then I want it to be AND switch, position 1. And then what I had to do after that is I had to go to special functions, and my special function 1, 2, and 3, originally they were pointing at the SG switch, but I've now pointed them at the logical switch 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so that's basically how I did it. And now I have everything working as it should. So I've got in here, when this is on 6, I get no sound at all, but I get sound here.
Flight mode 4, flight mode 5.
Okay, and also I get this widget working 4 and 5. But once I switch that to 1, now this switch, I get sound.
Flight mode 3, flight mode 2, flight mode 1.
Okay, and obviously my widget is moving here fine.
Flight mode 2, flight mode 1.
Okay guys, so hopefully this has showed you how to set your transmitter up, and from there we're going to now look at Rotorflight. The Rotorflight settings are very simple, so they're not complicated at all. So let's go and have a look at Rotorflight. Okay guys, so now I have my wire plugged into my Nexus-XR, and as you can see there, I am on my Alliant TB40. So now all we have to do in Rotorflight is really simple. So to get our profiles working, we need to go to adjustments. Now I've already done it, and literally all you have to do is here, this was set to 3, so this was there, and now all we have to do is literally move that to 5. That's literally all we have to do. So I'm just going to say revert because it's going to take me back to 5. And that's basically it. So now if I'm in my position 1 switch, okay, I could now put my flight mode 2 on.
Flight mode 2.
Takes me to 2.
Flight mode 3.
Takes me to 3. Now if I put on my position 6, it should take me straight to 4.
Flight mode 4.
So that's taking me to 4.
Flight mode 5.
And that's flight mode 5.
Flight mode 4.
Okay, now if I go to my profiles, you can see the same. I'm on profile 4, so it's in 4.
Flight mode 5.
Profile 5. If I put it back to position 1, it will take me back to profile 3 because my switch is in position 3.
Flight mode 3.
It's taking me to 3.
Flight mode 2. Flight mode 1.
See, so this is how simple it is. All the hard work was done in the transmitter, and then all we do here is we go to adjustments and we just change that from 3 to 5, and then it works. Now in terms of the actual settings, obviously in your profiles you could do, you know, if you have 5 profiles, you do whatever you want with these profiles. We're not going to go over that, but for me personally, I'm using profile 4 and profile 5 for my training, and which is basically these settings over here. But I'm going to do a completely separate video on that, how to set that up. But that's it for this video, guys. This teaches you how to add 2 extra profiles to your transmitter and to Rotorflight. So now you have 5 profiles that you could play with. And if you're interested in auto leveling and kind of trainer mode, then please watch my other video, which I will cover that in a lot more detail. So thanks guys, thanks for watching, and have a good day.